meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noted. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the GoTeam. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the GoTeam, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Benjamin E. Mays GoTeam meeting to order at 5:16 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Garner,
Present.
Pamela Bryant, present. Kia Cody, Pajara Anderson, Andrew Dunn. I saw him on here.
Present.
Thank you. That's okay. Elizabeth Raymond.
Present.
Thank you. Jasmine Smith.
Present.
All right. Khalifa Lee.
Present.
Rejoice Jones.
Present.
Kimberly Jenkins.
Present.
Malachi Youngblood. And Tamia Price. Ms. Jenkins, we do have enough for a quorum. For those members that said present, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 present.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. The team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. And we do have a quorum. Thank you. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and copies are here. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve. Rejoice.
Elizabeth Raymond, I second the motion to approve.
Did you get that, Ms. Bryant?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. So the secretary can record your vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. Thank you. We will approve the minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve our previous meeting minutes?
I move to approve the previous meeting minutes. This is Pamela Bryant.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second. Rejoice Jones.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. All right, thank you so much. Those are all of our action items for today's meeting. Our next item on the agenda, we'll move to our discussion items. Dr. Garner.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully everybody had just a great day today and you're feeling good. All of the students and staff are returning from spring break. So, I always send up a special prayer when everybody gets back safely with smiles on their faces and knowing that they have, enjoyed a good break and ready to come and finish the year strong. Our meeting this evening, it won't be as long, and I'll speak to you about the MAP data, which is the universal screener that we give 3 times a year. And in the spring, we only give it to our freshman students to kind of see what they are. But what I can tell you is, we're really locked in and really focused on the Georgia milestones. That is where the focus is right now in the school. Not only Georgia milestones, but also our end of pathway assessments, which start on this Monday coming up, in addition to our advanced placement exams, our final exams that students have to take, graduation, visions, award ceremonies, all of the end of year kind of fun things. But everybody right now is locked and loaded on Georgia Milestones testing and really prepping our students for that. So let's dive in. We'll look at spring map results in comparison to the fall in the area of literacy and numeracy. And again, this will only be ninth grade data. Next slide. So you can see in the fall at the very top, overall, we had about 28% of our students who did not hit their goals, who fell, in the lowest percentile ranks. And that number jumped a little bit to 29% in the spring. So kind of stagnant as it relates to, where we started and where we are right now. Even though the assessment is one set of questions at the beginning of the year, and a second set at the end. Rejoice, go ahead.
How are the percentiles calculated? Is it out of Georgia, out of APS? What are they
Actually,
measuring, I guess, against?
yep. So the percent. So what MAP does is it looks at each kid individually, and it sets targets for each individual student. So it's really student for student. So if I take the test and I fall, say I score really low on the test in the fall, it looks at where I should have grown, the next time I take it. So it's not really compared to, it's student for student. Hopefully that answers it. Okay. So areas for strength in the fall, we had areas of strength. We had 22% of our students outperformed at least 60% of MAP reading test takers. And then by spring, we had 25%. So that increased to 25%. And that's the amount of kids who scored in the yellow. Areas of growth, the number of students fluctuating between the bottom two quintiles increased from 52% to 56% in the spring. Percentage of students in the top quintiles were lower, a little bit lower. Some of the implications is that we drill down in the data to identify students who may have minimal to negative growth patterns, and then provide targeted reading support, meaning support classes using systems like Lexia and et cetera to really kind of personalize the learning for students in those areas where we see the need. Next slide. And so this is for math. Numbers are a lot higher in math. So we have 40% of the students overall in the fall, and it dropped down a little bit to 39% who scored in that lowest quintile. Areas of strength, 17% of our students outperformed at least 60% of MAP, let's just say math test takers. And then by spring, 19% outperformed at least 60% of their peers. In the fall, 67% of the students were in the bottom two quintiles, and by spring, this decreased to 65, so a small decrease. Areas of growth, only 19% of our students currently are outperforming at least 60% of MAP math test takers. And then some of the implications of that is to continue to provide support classes, so on and so forth. So again, these are, go ahead, Rejoice. Oh, these are from the MAP assessment. Again, it's the universal screener. And we definitely look at this data and use it. But at this stage of the game, it is all about, how our kids who are in those high stakes testing areas are performing, and what strategies are we implementing to make sure that they are getting what they need. Any questions about the data right here? All right, next slide. All right, so the needs assessment. During the needs assessment, We look at the data from what we just saw, the spring map administration, and identify 2 to 3 potential needs for next school year, 25-26. This discussion will help leadership as they prepare for next year, 25-26 school year. Next slide. So let's have some discussion. What does the data tell us? What good news is there to celebrate? What are growth opportunities and what trends do we see in the data? So starting with the first part, looking at that, what does that data speak to you? What does it say to us?
Not to steer the conversation any other way, but I think that we should always use testing. Well, not always, but we should use this testing data with other measures like how are their social skills? How are they sort of, there's so many other aspects of what we do at school to teach children or students to be great adults that can lead great lives. And I hate that we have like a test term and so many other things. It's just like, that's not really how. So I'm not trying to use it to turn anything. I'm just using it. I think the data tells me from this side of the aisle is that you guys are doing a good job. We have the metrics in place to be able to measure our performance. And then we use that hopefully from a well-rounded standpoint, not to just say, well, let's just test them more, but maybe how do we teach them how to test? Like what are some different strategies that maybe fun study groups? I'm thinking a little bit more about whole child. Yep.
Yep, love it.
I agree with you, Ms. Rejoice, because when you really break down the data too, it'll tell like the specific areas that the students struggle in too. So that's good to, put them in those groups and really group them according to, their areas of needs and forming different study groups based on the need. And I think test taking strategies are very important because sometimes it's not about the content, like you said, it's the strategy for testing. And then some students do have anxiety when they're testing. So just making sure they're okay when they're testing and make sure they're in the right space too. I agree.
And to piggyback off of that, I think that we need to continue just being able to make sure that we're reading across the curriculum and maybe cross-connecting content areas so that way when students do overcome that test anxiety, they're able to decipher what background knowledge they need based on the classes they have taken as opposed to just reading for the sake of reading.
Mm-hmm.
So reading science material, reading social study material, reading math material, and as well as SEL, all of that combined with their own personal experience should, help them along with the test taking strategies.
All great points. Anyone else? Someone wrote, let's see.
I'll say another thing on that because I can't dismiss what's happening from. Am I breaking up? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
We can keep going. It's fine.
Okay. You sure? Want to definitely hear your take. Okay.
Well, this is going to be even more just like the Department of Education. And like now, what are we doing with these testing and who's the authority of what our children should learn? I think that Maines is a great model school because of all the other things we're doing right. And like just, so I'm more interested in the fact that, yeah, we're going to use this data to teach critical thinking and skill set that our students need, but also powers that be when they come in snapshot how our students are successful, take into the account all of the full round things that we're doing, the wraparound services that are leading towards some of these test goals.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I don't want to go off on a pivot, but that's just like, that's the energy that I'm getting from this of how this is going to be very helpful for our students and just how we think about education moving forward.
No, I mean, I think those are great points, Rejoice. And as you say that, it makes me reflect on um, some of the whole child strategies that we have put in place. You know, you heard Ms. Jenkins chime in. She's a true educator, but she's also leading our whole child support, right? So she's the person who makes sure that our most at-risk students are receiving wraparound services, the extra mentorship or the extra opportunities that they may not get, you know, if they didn't have those supports, exposure. I think about communities and schools taking students to Philadelphia next week or last week during spring break. We had a group of kids over in Accra, Ghana through Google and APS and two other groups of kids to France and another group to Spain or that this school, I'll say this and then we'll get back. But I'm just amazed at just all of the opportunity receives, all of the love from the community that these little kids um, are receiving. You know, I was gonna save this to my report at the end, but Georgia Power will be here next week. The kids don't know this yet. All of the seniors, they're gonna do some financial literacy. Then they're gonna give every student a new laptop um, for college, right? So that takes something off their parents' plates, or the partnership with Scottio through communities and schools where they're gonna come in and teach drone classes. They're gonna take our kids all day, split them up in groups, teach them all about drones, take them out, fly some drones, do some different things. So it's so many just just additional supports. Mayor Franklin, Councilmember Boone taking a group of kids to the Legacy Museum next week. And I know I'm forgetting some things. That's just how many things are happening in this place that I believe aren't fluff things, but these are the things that help create a well-rounded student who is exposed to different things when they get out into the real world. Yeah.
And their
All right. It's enough on my
curiosity
tangent.
is gonna expand.
Right. So what was some of the good news to celebrate that we saw?
It looked like for both content areas, the exceeding students, I think that the blue area, I don't know what that was, but that increased, like that increased for both areas. And even though I think it was maybe like a percentage down though, but even with the red data, that still decreased. It seemed like I think at least by 1 percentage point, if I'm correct. So
Yeah, map is good. Don't get me wrong, it is when we give it, right? I'm more interested in what our kids score on the Georgia milestones. The reason being is because I know that you're gonna get every kid's very best on a Georgia milestone. They're gonna give you their best, all they have, right? Because they understand and know that this like our Super Bowl, right? It's like, hey, this is the big game. You know, I need to bring it right here. That's just how we've been trained, good, bad, or indifferent. Um, so I really look at those scores, and we'll have them, you know, at the end of the year. Not to disrespect MAP again, but I know that the Georgia milestones assessments and how the kids do on these AP exams and all of that will really help to guide our direction for where we need to focus, um, and you know, for next year and the years to come, because I know that'll be a true depiction of what our kids know. Uh,
And I
uh,
hope they hear that too. Even hearing that as a stakeholder feels reassuring. Like I hope they also know, like, okay, we're teaching you how to take exams and tests and assessments. But let this sort of be like a practice or a skill for you to get ready and excited for where the real energy should go. And that kind of takes, I don't know, a little bit of pressure and kind of gives those who may have anxiety, the feeling like, okay, I got this shot, then I can work on it. So just even hearing it sounds very reassuring.
yeah, and I want to shout our teachers out, man. I don't know how we're gonna perform You know, we did fairly well last year. We had really big jumps. And that was last year though. And unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. It's what it is. The reality is you can make big jumps, 15, 20 percentage points in 1 year. The targets don't, the targets start where you land. So if I took a big 20, 15% jump last year, the target is there and it's 3% higher than where you land. You know what I mean? So it's always, unless you get to 100%, the targets are always moving, right? Um, and so, but where I was going with that is I'm so proud and so happy to have the teachers that we have who want to like get in the mix. And I've never had, as an administrator, I think I had like 15 teachers one day after school a couple of weeks ago. It scared me a little bit. They were like, "We need to see you." It was like right after school, like 15 teachers. I was like, "Oh God, what's going on?" And they were like, "Listen, we want to do a Georgia Milestones lock-in with our kids." So we have, 15, 20, I don't know how many staff members next Friday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be fun. We're going to play music, but we'll feed the kids, but in every milestone area, listen, this is going to be a fun prep time, fun groups, and everybody is all hands in. And I'm just like, wow, like as a principal, what more can you ask for? You're charging up the hill as hard as you can. And when you turn around, you hope that people are charging with you. And there's one thing that I can say and that I know and I'm confident is that we have our folks, you Rejoice, you're welcome. We have people charging up the hill like they are charging up the hill. Nobody is waiting to be drug up the hill, but everybody is feet and hands on the ground and we all are grinding. So I'm excited to see where we land. Um, Next slide. All right, so based on our discussion about the school data, determine points of strength and opportunities for improvement and summarize them below. I think we said some of the strengths were we didn't really lose any ground. I think we saw an increase in reading, in the amount of students who were scoring at the top tier. We also saw some increases in the the middle sections. Um, and our biggest area of strength that from MAP is in reading, right? Some of the opportunities from growth is that we want to see more students um, moving out of the red. The red was still much too high at 30, 39, and 40% respectively in math over the fall and the spring. So more work needs to happen in those areas. Um, those were the things that I saw. Anybody want to add to that?
Well, all I can say is that I mean, it is areas of growth, but I feel like that we are working on it because we're sort of like pushing that interdisciplinary model, especially like literacy across just all subject areas. So I think that even though we see that, okay, maybe the red in those particular like subject areas like math, but when we're able to sort of like really hone in on literacy, then the kids can understand like decoding and how to
Right.
like interpret like what they're seeing. And there are some subtle growths, like being a classroom teacher and being in there, there's areas that I'm like, oh, okay, like in algebra 2, we're covering like matrices and they're doing systems of equation and how to actually put that into a matrix. And it's very laden with word problems, but the kids are using some of their skills across, their English classes to understand decoding words. And I find that it's difficult for our kids, all kids. So it's not like particularly amazing, right? It's really a lot of kids struggle with that. And then we also have a high population of like our ESOL kids, our kids that are like ESOL and SWD. So they're double coded. So there's other things. And that
Mm.
does go back into like that whole child and interpreting data. And since the data is like specific to a lot of the kids, and we can then go back into like our grouping and then supporting the kids in like that SEL piece, which, we have our wellness center. So I think that, yeah, it's in red, but we're doing the work and we're getting there. A lot of teachers are doing parental outreach, the lock-in like that's happening, and the kids are just like, okay, I'm seeing that it's all my subject areas that will be there. It's bio, you know what I mean? It's American lit, it is US, like they're seeing that, so then they're understanding again that honing of like that interdisciplinary where all the subjects rely on literacy. Math component also goes into literacy. So I mean, I don't know. I think we're not perfect, but we're okay. We're making some progress.
We're working. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're working. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Raymond. Anyone else? See some things in the chat. Okay.
I just
Do we?
summarized what we were saying.
Got it. Yes.
And I wanted to ask a question about that interdisciplinary. That way we can, those of the visual audience and those who might not be fully connected and watching, even from the community standpoint, we're asking for that very thing. I don't think we have a good understanding of an example of what interdisciplinary could look like. But then we're looking at those numbers of the testing and the analysis that we're having and carrying those great, beautiful examples from earlier. Interdisciplinary could, from my part of view, could be like, all right, we're teaching our youth how to practice urban agriculture. Well, are we using multiplication and numbering out rows and division and percentages of using particular amounts of nutrients in order to make sure a plant grows? Like, how is our interdisciplinary looking to make sure that we're engaging our children at school from their standpoint of their interests?
Got it.
And I will say too, we started, shout out to Miss Smitty with the literacy fair that she had. And to me, that was an interdisciplinary event because she incorporated literacy from all content areas too. So that was a start, so students can start seeing, making the connections where literacy is really everywhere. So that was a great start. I think we're on the right path.
And I think so. I think the SEL. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think the SEL lessons are also great segues for interdisciplinary. Just being able to kind of talk about emotions and talk about feelings, but being able to read the different scenarios and formulate discussions amongst the peers. So I think that's also a good launch too.
Can I tell you where I really need your brain power? Maybe this is tonight, but or moving forward, or just send me ideas. But you know what? One of our realest issues is chronic absenteeism, guys. Chronic absenteeism. Getting the kids to come to school is a struggle. I will be 1000% honest with you. The kids who come to school are doing, fairly well. The kids that I'm most concerned about and you look at the data, I look at the data every day, definitely not just a maze thing. We're not at the bottom, but most certainly not at the top. But the percentage of kids, Black students, who are missing 10% or more of the school year, which is about 18 days and more, is concerning. It's alarming. And so, we have to put more energy towards strategies around, getting students to come to school. How do we get our parents to help us get kids to come to school? You want school to be fun and engaging, for them to want to jump out of the bed and come. For some of those extreme scenarios where students have other responsibilities and things of that nature, maybe no one is home to say, get out of the bed and go. It's really like they can decide. They come when some of them come when they want to, and I don't want to stereotype because I don't know all of the reasons. But I can tell you that is something that is a real concern that we have to address. And that'll be one of the things at the forefront of my mind. And as we, as a staff, are creating these teams and solutions, putting our brains together to see what can we do to attack that issue.
What was the percentage you said?
I mean, we have, roughly half of our students, 50%, in some cases, 60% of our students who miss 10% or more of the school days. Yeah. And that's here, Washington, South Atlanta, Douglas, Harvard, gets a little bit better at Jackson, Midtown, North Atlanta, but it's still not good there either. But really in our schools, when I mean, South schools, it's worse.
By chance, are these absentee folks are they also a part of our families in need, especially housing wise?
Oh yeah, I would definitely say there's a correlation to that for sure, man. Yeah. I don't know the numbers as it relates to probably like something like household income or something of that nature. But I would venture to say, if I were a betting man, that there would be a strong correlation with that. Meaning that there are barriers financially, right? Housing, food, clothing, things of that nature. I have an idea. I haven't written a proposal to the superintendent yet, and it's a really out of the box idea.
Oh
And
my gosh, tell us.
well, I want to submit a proposal first and see if I can, if it's okay. But then I'm done. Then I'm gonna tell the world because I'll need your help. Um, so if you would just give me a couple weeks to get a proposal, something official together, and send it up. But I do have an idea. I don't have it. I'm saying it because I want to manifest it. Um, but it's gonna take some resources uh, to make it happen. But more
Is
more to
there?
come. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, go ahead, Mr. Dunn.
No, is there any way? And this was done a while ago I think it was at another APS school, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe some of us as teachers absolutely need to actually see how our students are living firsthand. So I remember at one school district, I think it was at Harvard, if I'm not mistaken. We did a school trip just with the faculty and drove in and out the different neighborhoods and the different sections where many of our students filter into the maze, of course, our cluster. And it kind of just gave us an eye opener as to where they live, how they live, and just kind of maybe sparks more of an understanding as to what we need to do in terms of solution. That was just a starting point.
Good idea. Yep. No schools that definitely have done that. I think we did that at John Lewis as well. Took a charter bus and school bus and went around to the neighborhood and kind of looked at where our kids live for sure. Oh, okay. I see a couple things in the chat. Okay, Miss Raymond said, would APS offer a late bus? And it's not to encourage tardiness, but there's scholars who say they've missed the bus. Definitely something we can look into. Mr. Lee says he's thinking about buddy systems, accountability partners, or even award structures to encourage children who want to come or at least want to reach out to make sure they get to school. We reached, okay. All right. Both good ideas. As things come to you, sometimes ideas come to me in the middle of the night. Jot them down. If you have any, like seriously, anything to add, you want to say tonight or later on, it's never too late. Send it to me, email it to myself so that we can take a look. That's definitely something that we need, that we gotta get them here first in order to teach them. So sometimes we see test results of kids who haven't been to school. They'll come on days when they know they got to do something like some of these assessments, but are they prepared? No, and it's primarily because, they may have missed a lot of days of school. All right, next slide. 550. All right. Based on our responses for strengths and opportunities, what must be true for Mays High School to achieve excellence? What are we thinking?
Oh, definitely attendance.
Attendance, yeah, the forefront. What else?
And we can still stick with, I know literacy is a district push, but finding different like ways of like literacy with interdisciplinary. And I know a lot of teachers are doing it in the classroom anyways, but definitely that's for me, I would say.
Interdisciplinary, right, with a strong focus on literacy, school-wide literacy structures that everybody is doing. If we are marking the text or using a race strategy, right? Every single classroom is doing it, from social studies to band to, everything we offer. I agree. Anything else?
Multi-layered learning techniques to ensure engagement of each student in all areas. All of our children these days are very special. Y'all can hear the little ones behind me. Every child learns differently. It may be a Roman area where we might not need to put more children into special education courses, but just if it could be a certain clusters where all right, we know these children learn more artistically, it's more visual. These people are more sonic. These folks might need more projects. These people might need more hands-on direct engagement. Like it's ways that we can alter our teaching to better engage these children of our community,
Good
or at
point.
least enhance what's already being done in the classes. Figure out how we can do them all at the same time.
Absolutely. That's the key. We got to figure it. We got to figure it out. And they do learn all those different ways. So we gotta, meet the needs of the students. Personalize the learning. Yep. Okay. Then we have those noted. Next slide. All right, so next step. Principals will spend the summer preparing for the 25-26 school year. That's right, before the summertime. We're already planning for next year. Schools will begin meeting after July 1st to organize their go teams for the year. And during the first business meeting in fall of 25, the principal and go teams will review strategic priorities and metrics for the year. Next. All right, information items, principal's report. I kind of gave you a few of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. If you can this weekend, Cascade United Methodist Church, Big White Church on Cascade, is having their Easter egg extravaganza here at Mays. It's going to be this Saturday morning. Let me look at the flyer really quickly. Um, uh, Easter egg extravaganza for kids 2 to 11 years old. It's going to be here at May starting at 12, from 12 to 2. It's going to be an extraordinary event. We met with them today. They have food trucks. They're giving out free food, face painting, Easter egg hunts, bouncy houses, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be really fun for the kids. So if you have any small ones, or you have any nieces or nephews, or your own kids, or just kids that you could tell, we want the community to come out and be a part of this and enjoy what our community church has to offer. PTA elections are next week, April 22nd, here at the school at 6:30. Um, the positions available will be president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. I think it's $12 to join PTA, so you have to join in order to run, but we definitely want to see our PTA growing. And then mark your calendars for Silence the Shame. Silence the Shame is another event that's happening here at Mays through Miss Shanti Das. She's a Mays alum. I didn't know, I hadn't really heard of Shanti Das, but man, she was a former vice president at, I think, the Face Records and Motown Records. So she has partnered with Puma and radio station Magic 107.5, Microsoft, Amera Group, a couple other partners to put on this free event for the community. Um, uh, the information is on our website for people to register. We need you to register for the event. I'm sorry, it's free to general admission is free, but she'll have teams there who will be participating. And team registration is $55 per person. So you don't have to be a part of the team. But again, this is all in celebration of mental health month, which is the month of May. And we want to make sure that the community is here for that because it'll be another fun, festive event to connect with resources. So mark your calendars for that. I think that's all that I have to say. Cluster advisory, that's you, Rejoice, right?
Um, I I'll kind of just summarize from the meetings before because I actually did make the last meeting. I believe that again, the Maze cluster are continuing to work through strategies of how to build literacy within the Maze cluster so that it's symbiotic from elementary all the way to high school. And then also how to embed more integration with like family events. So events with family doing things to build literacy with the student. And then also with the special education, same literacy and building some strong strategies across the board. So I can drop the link to the notes and sort of summary notes of what we've been working on through the Maze cluster and are happy to answer any questions if anyone has them.
GoTeam elections. We can find our candidates and all of we do have candidates for every position that we have available. So you can find and take a look at our candidates at apsstrongschools.com. Voting takes place actually starting tomorrow through the 25th. So please go out and vote. Households are sent a unique link based upon information that's in Infinite Campus. And then school staff will be sent a link to their APS email addresses. So we want to vote for our new GoTeam members as they are running. And definitely want to say thank you. This has been an award-winning GoTeam. Remember, we were given an award at the APS Yes Awards this past year. So definitely want to say thank you to our GoTeam members who may be leaving us to not be on GoTeams anymore or to go do something else. I want to say you have been appreciated. You know, don't take this work lightly. Being on a GoTeam is very important. We make big decisions here as it relates to budget, as it relates to strategic planning, because everything that we do in these meetings is what my team and I have to go back and put into action, right? So what we vote on and what we say we want to see and do starts with this team. So I, for one, appreciate everybody that's working on it and everybody that's leaving. Definitely want to say thank you for your hard work and dedication. All right, next slide. I think I'll be turning it back over to Ms. Jenkins.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Garner. Does anyone have any more announcement before we adjourn the meeting? Okay. Just this announcement, just remember GoTeam members to complete your end of year surveys and then your required trainings if you hadn't already done so. So we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there
I just
any
wanted,
addition? Oh, I'm
well,
sorry,
I just wanted to like end off by saying this has been the most pleasant year. I think I've been on GoTeam since 2019, starting at Maze to here, and it's just been a joy working with everyone and just to see everybody's passions and different skills come together. This is why, like the 90s Bulls, like if you think about every team being just a group of skilled individuals that can do great things. And so I'm going to say yes to whatever Maze and Dr. Garner has gone on because you guys just have a great team. And I will say, Dr. Garner, it's just been great to see you just sort of like step into a lot of these big roles with so much humility and very much like teacher first. And I can admit this and don't shame me, but I didn't vote for you uh during the principal search at for John Lewis, and it was totally off of just like data and not, it was like you were my second vote, but I didn't vote for you initially. And now that I like kind of look back and like I will follow this man to the ends of the earth, or what he, because I just see so much growth and passion, and it's felt. And if I talk to the students, they feel it. And so it's just been really great to be a part of a team. And Miss Kirkpatrick, I mean, goodness gracious, whatever she do, I'm following Miss Kirkpatrick everywhere.
Me
So
too. Me
yes.
too.
So it's just been really great and an honor to like serve in this way. And I'm just looking forward to getting better on my side so that I can offer more stewardship and service to what you guys are building. So thank you.
Appreciate that, Rejoice. We do. Yep.
I don't get to say much during the meeting because I'm always trying to capture notes and capture what everybody is saying. But if I piggyback on what you were saying about the teachers that came together and wanted to do the lock-in for the students, I think that speaks volumes to you as a leader. And it speaks volumes to how these teachers feel about our kids. Like my daughter's a student there. And that really makes me feel good to know that we have teachers that are not just teachers, but they're vested.
Right.
And that makes a difference when you have a teacher that is vested in the
Right.
students, invested in the success of the students. And you as a principal hearing the ideas, and I don't know what other schools are doing with their communities, but I can honestly say that Mays, the community has latched on, and there are some really, really good things that are happening with the school and the community, and that means a lot. As far as leadership is concerned, you're A1. You're top of the list. I mean, I've worked on a couple of gold teams. I've worked with a couple of principals, but you stand for what Mays should stand for historically is education. And that in itself says to me that Mays is going to be above and beyond expectations because of that. And do not let them get you out of that school. You stay there and you see it through until we become a top tier school in the APS system, because I know you can make that happen. But when they start to see you making it happen, they'll try to move you to another school. Don't let them do that.
You know the
You stay
politics, Ms.
there.
Brand. You know the politics.
No.
Absolutely. You stay there and you finish out the course and you make sure that Mays becomes a top tier school. I'm impressed, and I thank you and I thank the teachers for an outstanding school year. And that's it.
Thank you, man. That's humbling. I appreciate it. I really do. Really do. Thank you.
I second all those emotions, and in my short, brief saying is a huge, large thank you to the work that you've done in keeping your word from our first conversations and making sure you're actively engaged and incorporating the community, the parents and the businesses locally, and making sure that you're holding us accountable in our engagement as well. Um, the whole community feels a difference with the full-on press for what you all been doing at Page this past few years that you've been there. The whole city watching, brother, and we appreciate you and thank you and the collective of the team that you've been able to build and maintain, and the folks you've maintained to keep there because you there. We appreciate you, much love, and we gonna keep this train running.
Man, I appreciate that, y'all. I really do, man. Yeah, this means something to me, man. I'm an Atlanta kid, y'all. I am an Atlanta kid. I grew up in John Egan Homes. I keep telling y'all that. So this is you know, it means something to me. It really, really does. Atlanta means something to me. Atlanta public schools mean something to me. This is not a joke. I ain't, but it's not me. It's not about me. I'm the principal, so I get, but I got some good people with me. So I appreciate that support, y'all. We gotta keep going. It's all of us. It is all of us. So I appreciate it. Yep. All right. Okay. Anything else?
I'll just make sure y'all know that if by chance we made it to a Tuesday where it's another MPU meeting. So MPU meeting in a few, about an hour and a half. No, I'm sorry, a whole hour. It's 6 o'clock now. And a ton is happening during this weekend coming. So y'all check the email for any events going on. And the same for you all. I know that I was sent information about the lock-in, I think. So if anything else is going on, please send it to us so we can share it to the community members and see if we get some people to come and give the teachers a little relief and love and helping out the children and students.
And Khalifa, I want to get back in front of the MPU, man, when we get a chance, maybe like quarterly, just to keep keep them abreast of what's happening.
Absolutely. I'll send you that link so that way whenever you get a chance, you have something you want to present and kind of make sure you tell the community. We'll put you officially on the agenda. They've been hawking me for letting too many people community wise come on without officially doing things. I love my community so much. I just want to get the information.
I got it. All right, man. Okay. All right.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Thank you all. This is our last meeting of the year. It's been a great GoTeam. Just thank you, Dr. Garner, for your leadership. Thank you, GoTeam members, and we truly appreciate you all. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting, Elizabeth Raymond.
May I have a second?
A second.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 All opposed, please raise your hand or say nay. Any abstentions, please raise your hand or say abstain. All right, our meeting is officially adjourned.
All right. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.